Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Anime Association. In this episode, we will be talking about Lazarus episode 6. And before we get into all that good stuff, make sure to like our videos and make sure to subscribe. It helps us out and gets us out there so all other amazing anime watchers can find us and get involved in the conversation. Now, before we get straight into that, I just want to introduce my guys who are with me for this episode. We've got A1 and we've got
You?
Kaio Tim times 10. Are you guys good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I am well because Batman does good.
Yep. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. Um, and guys, so just jumping straight into it itself is that one of the themes that we've kind of discussed over the previous weeks is that Lazarus continues to be a slow paced build up anime, which kind of reinforces what we've said numerous times that this anime seems to have been designed more as a binge watch instead of a weekly anime watch itself. So with that said, I mean, let's start off with you, A1. What were your thoughts on just early thoughts, just brief thoughts off this episode before we start going around and actually going a little bit deeper into it?
Uh, I actually, well, this episode made me change my mind about saying like it's a binge-worthy type show. Like, because with all the shows that dropped this spring, all the action-based type shows, like this comes out on Sunday. This slows me down. Like, as far as like my pacing wise, looking for action. Like, when I want some story, I'll come to this. And the way the episode, you know what I'm saying, I got from it for real, honestly, was like we're just following the doctor's steps and we're seeing everywhere where he touched, even though he didn't play like he obviously did play a big role in it. But all the places that we've been so far, these are places that he had some effect on, basically. So I love like the mystery type investigation, Batman type stuff that they're doing right now, doing heavy reconnaissance, looking for stuff. Like, yeah. So with me, the pacing, I enjoy it, honestly.
Yeah, Kyle.
Uh, I still would have to say it's. I think overall it'll be a better binge, because it's still giving me very episodic, but it
Yeah.
instead of like a normal episodic series, it actually has a plot and it is inching it up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. I think we got a bigger push this episode, but it also kind of reinforced something that I was thinking, and that's Axel is the MC because of what his possible connection to the end game is, but I think
Mm-hmm.
overall our true MC is the hacker girl Elena or Elaine, whatever her name. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm thinking right now, especially after this episode.
You know what?
Interesting.
Now that you say that though, like I really did forget about Axel this episode somewhat. I'm not even gonna lie, but I think that's the way it was set up though. I'm really forgetting that he is the MC. Honestly, like throughout all the episodes, I'm not even gonna cap to you.
Yeah, I mean it's got a lot of moving parts going on, and as Tim said about the possible MC of being Elena itself, this episode links in with the discovery of one of these secluded societies, one of these people that are anti-technology, where they believe that like we're being brainwashed by the
Mm-hmm.
outside world, and you know and in that, so we kind of, what was interesting about this was we also find out that it is a place where Elena actually grew up. The place itself was referred to as Naga,
Yeah.
which also lends to another theory that we've kind of discussed over previous weeks, is that there are more, in terms of this story itself, there are people that within the group that know a lot more than they're actually sharing,
Yeah.
which makes it very interesting. And then we get to that situation where they believe that Skinner may be hiding in that area, because who's gonna want to go to these kind of places that have no
Yeah.
technology? Who's gonna go look at those areas? What were your coming to you, Kyle, what were your thoughts in terms of the whole operation of kind of going of Elena going back into Naga, as well as going through with Leland to try and find some additional information on Skinner itself. What was your thoughts on that kind of premises for the episode?
So without going too deep into it, my initial thought was wh- I don't see this being a credible lead, and that's only because of how
Yeah,
far removed they were. They were 15 years removed from what happened with
Mhm.
Skinner meeting this.
yeah,
I'm just going to call it a cult, call it the cult leader and everything. So I was like, I don't see how this is going to be that big of a lead. But as we'll talk about a little bit later on, it did become actually a pretty big lead.
yeah.
Yeah, A1.
Well, I feel like it was a good idea on their part though, because before they went, they found out that Skinner had some involvement with the AI that they was using in the cult. So that would be a perfect place. Be off the grid. No one's coming there, like Tim said. So that would have been a perfect place for him to hide. But they knew from their experience that he wasn't there, but they knew they probably could get some information. Now, when they first went in there, I thought like, it don't seem like this is gonna be like another backstory episode, which it was, but it switched over very quick, and then we got more information than what we thought we was gonna get.
Yeah, and I think for myself, when the episode initially started, I think I was hoping that there was going to be a bit more progression in terms of what we saw with the hacker fight last week. So I thought there was
Yeah,
going to be a bit more that was going to happen from that front. So the concept of going to this story, as you said, A1, about the it being all episodic. I was not really at the beginning. I was not really happy about this kind of premise because I was thinking, well,
yeah,
what's this got to do with anything? This is not
facts.
really serving a purpose in terms of the gang actually trying to find out where Skinner is, and then so now when they do have that conversation about Naga, we then do find out that Naga was an AI program who initially had its program modeled on Skinner's brain in terms of being hungry for knowledge and control and
Hmm.
so forth. But like you know, what I wanted to kind of just get a thought is like how what was your reaction in terms of the cultism aspect of it all in terms of technology bad, you need to be purified, and then the whole process of
Yeah,
people that were being purified were not where they people thought they were being exiled, they were actually being burnt, like
burn. Yeah,
coming to you, A1, what were your thoughts on that cultism aspect of it all?
it made me look at the what was the cult leader's name again?
I forgot his name, to be fair.
Dragon? No.
Something like that. It showed me that he was really insane, honestly, because at the slightest moment of them being discovered on what they were plotting to do, basically, or what was going on inside that little camp, it was ready to get rid of everybody.
Hmm.
And like I was like, Jesus, bro, like this is cutthroat. So I was a little shocked by it. Like that built up a whole lot more suspense because you knew what was going to happen after that. Like they was going to get saved type stuff. But still though, for the fact, like man, like I thought you were just going to execute them, but you got to execute the whole village. Like nah, like Jesus. So I thought it was a little extreme. That's it.
Yeah, Kyle.
Uh, I really like I said in I think it was episode 4 or 3. Whenever they went to look for the old like Harvard professor or something like that, I
Yeah,
Yeah.
really liked it because it touches more onto like the societies of the actual world. So we're seeing how everybody is taking things in. I don't think there's really not too big of a difference between now what he did when they got discovered versus what the planet is doing now, what Earth is doing now, that they only have 30 days left. Everybody is kind of the way the first episode portrayed it is like a lot of people that know what's going on are kind of living like they're in the last days. There are no
yeah, yeah.
consequences to what's going on. And I think that the cult leaders' actions kind of did very good at
Tying
uh
in with that.
yeah, tying in with it and showing it almost like a microcosm of what's going on, at least from what the cult leader's mentality was. Now, obviously, it took it a step further with showing us. It gave me Jonestown cult type of vibes. Oh, they know they're coming for us. Drink the Kool Aid type of ordeal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really interesting because I think cultism is an interesting concept in terms of whether it's however way you see it. It was, but just seeing it as you said, like the positive thing that we can say about Lazarus at this moment in time, that regardless of it's being episodic and so forth, is that it is something that seems to be a series that's tackling real world issues, even if it's a
Hmm.
futuristic in a futuristic aspect. It's touching upon things that happen in this world today, which is commendable. But like, and then when we actually got into the cultism, a bit more aspects, we see that Elena had a friend called Hannah,
Yeah,
Hannah, if I'm
yeah.
correct. We find out that obviously she was initially jealous of Elena because she was, she was free, she was, all of this stuff. Because prior to that moment where we find out she was free, there was they have she was eavesdropping, or she just happened to be there when they were discussing the plan of actually getting into Naga to try and get some information itself,
Hmm.
which we then kind of find out later on that she obviously reported this information to the cult leaders who were ready for Leland and
Yeah.
Elena to steal the data itself. Like what were your general impressions as a whole? Like from when she has that conversation with Elena about being free to Leland saying he's got the flare in his bag. If you're brave enough, do this. To them even say like, we can you can be free, come with us and
Hmm.
so forth. Like your thoughts, like into coming to you, Kyle, first. Just that aspect, those conversations of the jealousy, the desire for freedom, and the idea of doing the right thing if you are brave enough to do the right thing.
So before I get to, I completely missed the whole flare thing. Leland saying the flare thing, so I was
Yeah,
kind of confused of like why she decided to grab the flare and knew what to do with it.
yeah.
I must have missed that. But the one thing I think was really good about it was that it kind of shows exactly the mentality of what people feel when they realize free will is a real thing. When they go from a captivity type of thing, they start
Hmm.
doing the free will, and it's like I'm following the mold and I see you doing what I want to do type of thing, but I'm too scared. So I really did appreciate that little back and forth. It wasn't until in hindsight till you actually really appreciate it. The one thing
Yeah.
I didn't like about this whole Hannah thing was she was used as a way to get them in this bind and then simultaneously got them out of the bind with no large actual progression of character. It was like, oh, I'm doing this brainwash
Hmm.
thing. They're in the cell. I hated you. I hate you. And then Flair, I'm saving them. Like that. I
Yeah.
didn't like how bundled up that really was. But other than that, I thought it was an okay thing that was going on. And the whole jealousy, free will thing is what really I like the most out of it.
Yeah, A1.
Well, I saw it coming. Like once she started talking about somebody, I was jealous. Like I already knew she was about to say. I'm like, okay. It was cliche, but sometimes you need that. Like you just need something ordinary to happen. Ordinary emotions, nothing complex. Like you know what's gonna come next. Okay. We know she lived there before. She had to have a relationship with somebody there. Her mom is even there. So you know she had to have like a best friend or something. So that was good to show like she has more to her than just hacking. You know what I'm saying? She basically has friends, this and that, you know what I'm saying, that she left behind. But the thing that I didn't like the most was, bruh, why did it take you so long to throw that flare, bro? I was about to get barbecued, bro. Like, what's going on? Like, you should have threw that at the beginning. Like, once you saw them bringing me up there, run through the crowd, toss that up there, please.
Yeah.
You wait till I almost got barbecued up. Like, come on. Like, what's taking you so long? Just use it. Like that's the only thing that made me mad. I was like, bro, come on. You could have used it way earlier than this. You could have used it that night if you wanted to. But she
Yeah.
waited till the whole FBI came and basically we about to get cooked. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not trying to be a human shish kebab. Waiting on you. You know what I'm saying, what's your emotions? Come on, just throw the flare, bro.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it was in terms of all of that. It was just it just reaffirms that obviously as human beings in situations like that, there are people that obviously take advantage of other people in terms of in your moment of
Yeah,
absolute weakness because you know Hannah, this is all she's ever known. She did, as she was saying, like I can't. She didn't even when she was offered to like we can make you free. She was just like, how am I going to survive this stuff? Never seen all of this stuff. But you have all these peoples that try to tell you this is the way, this is the way, this is the way,
mm-hmm.
and then you have these people that just follow blindlessly and namelessly, but only to find out later down the line is that maybe they just initially needed someone for that, you know, that had the right intentions for them. So
Yeah,
it was an interesting episode. You know, like I said, it's not the worst episode, and it's not the worst episode. You know, it gave us a little bit more clues, but I
yeah,
think just before we get to that point, it was just the we have that sequence where Axel is he's picked up, he's in that area that's all burnt down where
mm-hmm.
Naga was. He initially just asks a question to Naga thinking it's all offline, and you know, saying like why did you do all of this stuff kind of thing, and then it kind of comes out that, you know, it was programmed to be a god basically, and to be a god you needed to control the masses because they're basically useless. Just that concept itself, like, you know, like just your general thoughts on that, and then as well as leading into what we think we're going to get into you know, from episode 7 onwards, because
Yeah,
I'm starting to think this is a 12 episode season, because we've now come down to 17 days left until
yeah.
Yeah.
D-Day. So I'm not
It is
I
12
don't
episodes though. I think it is only 12
yeah, because
episodes.
I thought it initially was going to be 24, but it's looking like it's going to
Moving
be
really
12
fast.
episodes because it's moving
Yeah.
really really fast. So yeah, just that. So your thoughts coming to you, um Forbes, about, you know, just those thoughts about the Naga wanting to be a god, or programmed to be a god to control the masses, because, you know, it is the true purpose of being a god when you can control the people.
Um, I think that just did some foreshadowing for something later on that's going down. I don't think it's going to be our last time seeing the AI, even though I know the FBI got their hands all over it right now. Like, this is an AI that was controlling a whole cult
Mm,
and made it to the point to where they didn't know what was going on I'm saying, in the real world.
yep.
So uh I see it playing a bigger role. And from what you said earlier, about like being a 12, well, it might be a 12 episode type series, but you already know how Watanabe writes. So he might just try to jam pack everything into episodes. Like, I feel like this one was kind of jam packed. It was very fast paced. Like,
Mm,
so I see that going forward. I probably see like it's about to get a little bit more fast paced now. Honestly.
yeah. Kyle.
Um, how I feel about the AI is that the way the AI is thinking, because the AI is based off of Skinner. So
Yeah.
that's exactly how Skinner is thinking about when he's making
Drug. Yeah.
this napna, is that what,
Yeah.
hopna
Hopner.
Happening.
Hopner. Yeah.
is when he's making the hopna, and because he's the machine said I was called upon to do these things. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're going to end up getting something like the world leaders are going to be like, we need to reduce the population. And they came
Yeah.
to him. So he feels like, you know what? They came to me, they asked me for this, and I got paid to do it. So I'm going to do it. It's not about morally right, morally wrong. I was asked to do it, and I'm the only person that can do it because I feel like they're making a large connection between Skinner and Einstein to the point that this is supposed to mirror the Manhattan nuclear project type of thing,
Yeah.
where it's I did it because of science, but in the long run, it's the worst thing I could have ever done. But I was asked to do it for something like the AI type of protocol
Yeah.
type thing. Now, I'm not too sure if I brought this up in the last video or if this was off camera talking to one of y'all, but I feel like for the series, I feel like the cure is something to do with Axel's blood. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think the vaccine, they're going to find Skinner and he's going to be like, I don't have the vaccine. And people are going to be dying. And Axel's going to be like, what do you mean you don't have it? It's been with you the whole time. Like one of those type
Mm,
of things. I feel like that's what it's going to end up being. And I say that because Shin pointed it out of how Axel gets up. Everybody's laying dead on the ground, and he gets
Yeah.
up. And also in the very beginning, he's saying how Hapna didn't work on him. He was supposed to feel pain. He wasn't supposed to feel pain, but he feels pain. And so that's and they brought up like some genetic factor. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
his blood, not necessarily just his, but since he's the MC, is going to
yeah.
be his blood is going to be used to make a vaccine, and it's probably going to be like but you only have 3 hours to make the vaccine, or these people that are dead are really going to die. Like they're in a comatose, and you have to like airborne the vaccine. I know that's in game prediction, but that's the only type of prediction
Yeah,
I
because we
feel
can't
like I
go off of
can give
nothing.
for this
Like,
series.
it seemed
Mm,
like every episode it like ends right there. So it's like you said, it's episodic. So it's like, bro, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like,
yeah.
yeah, they found some more information, but it's like, what are we gonna go off of? It's like a dead end right there. As soon as we get to the end of the episode, every time.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is something that we can only look forward to at this moment in time. As we said, things are slowly heating up. We are making progress. But hopefully now that things are going to start to ramp up with as 17 days are left until the population sees its demise. So yeah, let us know what you guys think in the
What's
comments.
your
You know,
prediction, Ginyu?
my prediction,
Yeah, what's your
man.
Yeah.
prediction?
Um,
Yeah, don't skip over yours now. Come
Oh,
on, let's
wow.
hear it.
I was trying to get out of this quick because I didn't have a
Oh,
prediction. I didn't have a prediction, so I thought I'll cut this out real quick. But no, I think yeah, I think I like more what you guys are saying in terms of I think the cure might actually just be Axel and they just don't know because obviously nobody has kind of picked up upon the fact that he still feels pain and Hopner didn't
yeah.
work on him, but also we've also got this situation where Leland and Girly Girl were in Skinner's apartment and they found that little pill that seemed to be like nothing, but they put it in their pocket. So either somehow that's going to come up in play later on. Yeah, I think that's just where I'm at. Is either that pill's going to come up in play, um, or Axel is probably going to be the one that has the cure, and they just don't know it.
I
Yeah,
forgot
it's
all
really
about
hard
the
to really
pill.
tell predictions though, honestly.
Mm,
It's really hard to do it though. Like
yeah.
all we can do is say end game things like what we see it leading to. That's it. Like, but episode by episode, I don't know if we can really do that. I don't know, honestly.
Agreed. So you guys let us know what you guys think. Let us know in the comments. You know, are we onto something? Are we talking a hot bunch of hot air? You know, let us know where you guys stand on this. Make sure to also like these videos and also to subscribe. Like I said, it's free for you guys, but it goes a long way for us, but also helps other people that are into Lazarus and looking for people to have a discussion to get involved in. So yeah, until then, guys, you know, as I said, there's only 17 days until the demise happens. So let's hopefully see what happens and hopefully they find the cure. So until then, guys, we'll see you guys in the next episode.